Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the 3D Print Zone. In this video, I'm going to be doing a beginner level tutorial on what to do if you have a part that you're trying to print, but it's too large to fit on your print bed. If you're new to the channel, I have a lot of 3D printing tutorials and also a large focus on 3D printed guitars, which I both design and sell on my website, the3dprintzone.com. So if you happen to have an overlap interest in both 3D printing and guitars, then definitely check out some of my other videos as well. So at the end of the video, if you find any value in it, please consider giving it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any questions or comments, then please leave those in the comments section below. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see here, I have a model on my print bed and it's too large and you can see it's overhanging. So specifically, I have the slicer set up with a Bambu Lab P2S, which has a print bed that's 256 by 256 millimeters. So you can see here, the dark green is showing the parts of the model that are overhanging. So in this tutorial, I'm using just a simple block as an example, but this would really apply to any shape or geometry that you have for your model. So the first thing you're going to notice when you open up a model that's too large for the print bed is you get this error at the bottom of the screen. And basically this is just saying that it's sticking over the print bed and you can't print it. Now if we click on the model, we could look at the dimensions here. So this is 350 by 100 by 50 millimeters. And as we know, our print bed, the longest dimension on X and Y are 256 millimeters. So of course, the first few things you want to try if you have your model is to see if you can rotate it and find an orientation where it does fit on the print bed. So for example, we could take this model, come up here to the rotate button, and we can either manually rotate the model using the arrows as shown. These buttons here will reset it back to the original position, or we can go ahead and type in an exact value of what we want to rotate it to. So in this case, let's try 45 degrees on the z-axis. When we do that, we're now orienting it in a position that would basically maximize our space on the print bed, but you can see we're still hanging over on the corners here. We can also look at the different views. So if we look at it directly from the top view, we can get the best view to see where we're hanging over. So in this case, we're still not even close to fitting on the print bed. I'm going to reset this and we'll try one more time. So if we rotate the part first, we can go here, lay on face, click this edge, and then we're going to also rotate it again. So rotate it again, Z45. So in this case, it's a little bit better. We're closer to fitting on the print bed, but you can see that we're still overhanging. Now I've designed this model specifically so that it won't fit in any orientation for this example, but it's worth trying to see where your model might fit. In some cases, you're able to actually find an orientation where you tilt the model, and by tilting it, you may be able to get it to fit. That being said, that usually comes with a penalty, which is that you're going to use more support material for that part. So what I mean by that is, for example, you might say in the Y direction, if we rotate it 45 degrees, well, maybe then you can just get it to fit. But you could see here, this is showing that we're hitting the top, the tallest height we can print, and we're still clipping on the edges. So what do we do in this case? Well, there's a specific tool within Bambu Studio that allows you to take a model and split it into multiple sections. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So for now, I'm just going to dismiss this error that's showing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the model and we're going to go to this tool right here. So you can see here, this is the cut tool. And a shortcut you can use to get to it is just by pressing C. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to get some options that show here. So basically, there are two methods that Bambu Studio lets you use to cut your model. The mode can either be planar or you can select dovetail. So I'm going to go through both of these, but let's start with planar. So you could see here, it's showing a preview of the model split in two sections. So we have a blue section, object A, and a pink section, that's object B. Now, what we can do is rotate this model to determine where we want to cut it. So in this case, if we were to split the model along this line, we'd still have the same issue where we wouldn't fit on the print bed. So what we want to do is rotate where we cut it. So we can take this arrow and we can drag it, and this is actually going to get us to split the model at an angle, or we could set this to 90, for example, and we'd have a perfect vertical cut. So in this case, let's try something like 45, and we'll use that as an example. So you can see now we're cutting right along this diagonal. Now you can also mess around with this, which is movement. And what that's going to do is shift, instead of rotating where you're slicing, it's going to shift it either left or right. So for example, we can say we're going to move it 25 millimeters, and it shifted it 25 millimeters to the right. And to shift it back, we can just do minus 25, and it'll go back to where it originally was. Now, before we add connectors, which is going to be what joins these two parts together, there's a couple options you could see here. So after it cuts the part, you can either keep the orientation, place it on the cut, whatever surface you just cut it on, or flip the part. So in this case, object B would be in an orientation that we would like for 3D printing. Everything's flat and it wouldn't need supports. But object A, because of this slope, would need supports here. So we can choose to flip the part after we make the cut. Now these options aren't that critical because after we cut the part, we can still manipulate it and orient it however we want, but this will automatically do that for you when you hit cut. So the main thing that we need to do here now is set up connectors, which is going to be how these two points join together after they've been split. So we're going to go up here to add connectors and click on that. So what that's going to do is just show one of the two halves. And this orange surface is the surface that is the mating surface between the two parts. So we have a few options on the different types of connectors we want to add between these two parts. We can add a plug, a dowel, or a snap. Now, a snap is really the least useful, in my opinion, of these three options, and it's also the most advanced. So for most cases, I would not recommend using the snap feature. And in this tutorial, I'm not going to really go into much detail on it. So we're going to focus on plug and dowel. So plug and dowel are very similar, but I'll show you the subtle differences between them. So let's start with plug. And we have two options for style: prism or frustum. So in most cases, the simplest option is just going to be to go with prism. And for shape, I typically would go with circle, but you can go with triangular, a square, or a hexagon. So for this example, let's select circle. So first, let me just rotate the model so we're looking more head on. So in order to place the connectors, all we have to do is click on the surface where we want them to go. So let's click right here, and we could see that it has added a connector. Now this connector, of course, is way too large, but luckily we have the ability to adjust the size of the connector here. So by clicking on the connector and dragging this slider, we can adjust the diameter right here. So for example, let's say we want this to be a 10 millimeter diameter. We could set that to 10 millimeters. And for the depth, that's going to be basically how tall the connector is. So we can see as we drag this, we can make it shorter or taller. Now, Bambu Studio is smart in that if you make the connector too long, you'll get this warning right here, basically saying that it's outside of the object. So you want to make sure that the depth ratio is a post that'll actually fit within the mating part. So let's make the depth ratio 10 millimeters for this example. So we have these set, And you also get an option for setting a tolerance. So these values will basically set how much of a tolerance you're going to have between the post and the mating hole on the other part. So for many examples, point 0.1 to point 0.2 will work. This is something that you'll have some trial and error, and it'll also depend on how loose or tight you want the fit. So there we have our one connector, and I'm going to add a few more. So we're going to add one here, here, here. Now, one thing to note is once you've placed the connector, you can click it and drag it, and you can move it anywhere you want. But it is important to note that if you need these connectors in very specific locations, then you're going to want that as part of the model that you import as an STL. And this tutorial won't necessarily be applicable because these connectors, you can't precisely dimension them and have them exactly where you want, but you can get them roughly, eyeball them where you need them. So in this case, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and click Confirm Connectors. So now when I do that, if we zoom back out, we don't really necessarily see any difference, but we have established where those connectors are going to sit. So now what we have to do to actually split these two parts is just hit Perform Cut. So we're going to go ahead and click that now. And what you'll see here is that it automatically splits the part into two sections and adds the connectors that we just defined. So now that we have our two sections, we can take them and drag them so that they both fit on the print bed, just like you can see here. So let's take a look at what the connectors actually look like. So there are the posts that we defined. Then on the other section, there are the holes that will perfectly match up with these posts. And if we go ahead and click slice, we can get a better view of what that looks like. So we can see here, these are the holes that it's created for the mating surfaces. So now that we've looked at that as an example, let's take a look at some of the other options they have for joining the two pieces. So all I'm going to do is hit Control Z, and we're going to go back a few steps and take a look at some of the other options. So if we come back up here to cut, for this example, now let's try 90 degrees, for example. And we're going to go to Edit Connectors. So now let's click Dowel, and we're going to try that other type of connector type. So we're going to come here, let's look at the model head on, and we're going to put one of the dowels here and a second dowel right here. And we'll try to make these somewhat even to each other. And let's assume that the depth ratio and the size are what we want, and that 0.1 millimeters is the tolerance that we're looking for. So in this case, we're going to hit Confirm Connectors, Perform Cut. So for the dowel option, the difference between this is that wherever you place your connector locations, you're going to get a hole on either section that matches perfectly, but it's also going to create little dowel pegs that you can press in and hold the two parts. So this is something where the actual post is not part of the part. This is where they would print separately, and then you can go ahead and connect them using these dowels. So now let's take a look at one other option you have with the connectors, which is just the shape of the connector. So in this case, let's remove the two connectors that we previously had. Let's change this to square, and we're going to add these into the model. We'll say Confirm Connectors, Perform Cut. And now you can see that the difference is just that the actual peg is square instead of being circular. So this is really just a preference or whatever you like in terms of fit for the two mating parts. So now we're going to take a look at the final method for splitting and joining the parts. And that is, instead of the planar mode, we're going to go to dovetail. So what that's going to do is create a dovetail joint between the two parts. Now in this case, let's switch this to 45 degrees. And you can see here a preview of what this dovetail is going to look like. Now, similar to the planar cuts, we have options to decide how large the groove of the dovetail is going to be. So we can adjust the depth of it, the width, the angle, and the groove angle. So in this case, let's set the depth to 15 millimeters. We'll set the width to 20 millimeters and the angle to, let's go with that, 65. Similarly, from before, we can, after the cut, let's flip object A so that it's already oriented properly on the bed, and we're going to hit Perform Cut. So we can see now that we have two sections, and let's go ahead and drag these, and we could see that they both now fit on the print bed. So we could see here that we have the male side of the dovetail, and then on the other side we have a cut for the female side of the dovetail. Now this is a interesting joint type where you can imagine, if we flip this over, that you'd be able to take these two parts and slide it into one another and join them in that fashion. So this is, depending on your application, might be the right option for you. This is really a technique that'll help you out quite a bit if you typically deal with large models. And depending on your print bed size, you may or may need to split these into either even further sections. So just to quickly demonstrate that, you can then take any section that you've created, and let's say you want to further split that. Maybe you want dovetail for the first split, and then you want a planar split for the second one. So let's set that to 90 degrees. We will add some connectors. In this case, let's go with plug circles. We're going to delete that one, and we're going to add a second connector, confirm, perform the cut. And you can see now we've gone and taken this one step further, and we now have three sections. So if you have a really large model, you can split it up really as many times as you need so that all the sections can be printed on your print bed. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you found any value in it, please consider giving the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And like I said, I have several other tutorials, so if you're new to 3D printing, definitely go and check those out as well. And if you happen to be a guitar player or just interested in creating fun things with a 3D printer, then check out some of my 3D printed guitar videos as well. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.